Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's
Hey folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. Website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Time for another segment with our good friend and partner over at Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs. Their website, of course, is HydrojetWalkInTubs.com. Randy Addington is the owner, and he's here with us today. Randy, how we doing today?
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. So let's get into talking about the product again. And, there's so many stories. It's hard to choose which stories we want to talk about sometimes, but there's so many stories of, folks getting taken advantage of when they're looking at a walk-in tub. And, so many times it is someone who is advanced in age, and they kind of get, a little weary, when they've got a high-pressure salesman there in front of them, and sometimes they'll pull the trigger for something that's just horrible for them. And we hate seeing it, and they get taken advantage of. But, you guys don't do that. You don't have high-pressure sales staff, and you guys are 100% integrity.
I like to think that we are definitely 100% integrity. The senior market is the most highly taken advantage of market there is out there. And I don't know why that is. I guess because there's so many of them, 10,000 people turning 65 every single day and will for the next 15 years or so.
Right.
So it's a market where, people without any integrity or character go out there and take advantage of these folks.
Yeah, and so often I think it's almost like they feel that these companies feel like it's just, like they're easy targets, and, that they've got some money in the bank, and so why not overcharge them and then have the standard overcharge on the overcharge and then a surcharge on the surcharge of the overcharge. And it's just frustrating for, good people like us when we see that happen.
Yeah, it is. When I think of some of the things that happen to people out there in their senior years, they've worked all their lives to get to a point to be retired and enjoy retirement, and then somebody comes along and just takes advantage of them for no reason whatsoever. And it just makes me mad. I think of if they did that to my grandparents, how I would feel.
Right.
And it happens a lot more than I like to admit.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sure does. Well, let's talk about, so when we're installing this product, in someone's house, what are the types of things that they need to have existing or are going to be willing to need to do? Let's talk about maybe sort of the run-through you go through when, identifying, can we install this product in their home or what do we need to do to be able to install? Let's go through those types of things.
Okay. Well, when we come out to your home, the first thing we want to do is find out exactly what the need is. Everybody's needs are different, but that being aside from what your house needs to be able to accept one of these tubs, first of all, we need to know where's the tub coming in through, what is the pathway to its end place it's gonna rest in your bathroom. So we want to know what is the opening, let's say, to that front door. Mm-hmm. Furniture and things like that, it can be easily moved and put back, but we need to know what's the width of that hallway because we've got to bring this thing in. These things are a little bit bulky sometimes, and then going into the bathroom where it's going to end up being installed. We need to know the opening to that bathroom door because in some cases that door has to be widened or we've got to take the door jamb frame off to get it through. Then there's things like where's your commode, so we know if it's a left-hand door or right-hand door. Where's the plumbing in the existing tub? Sometimes we have to reverse the plumbing. And as complicated as all that sounds, it's really not complicated at all. And there's no extra charge for doing any of that. That's part of what we need to know to be able to do it.
Right.
Then we just measure the opening. But the two most critical things that I see happen with walk-in tubs for seniors that I absolutely think is wrong is selling a tub, installing a tub, overcharging for a tub when the people have a hot water heater or electrical panel situation that will not accommodate this tub.
Right.
When you install this tub, it needs to be have its own independent breaker. Many installers will go out and wire it right into a GFI in the bathroom, or even an older home that doesn't have a GFI. That creates a fire hazard. It can trip a breaker. It's just not good. It needs to be independent breaker on its own. And if you don't have a knockout panel, then you will either have to upgrade or you just need to not put one in. On the other hand, on the hot water heater side, most people have electric hot water heaters. A gas hot water heater requires, you can get away with a smaller one, but if you've got a 20 or 30 gallon hot water heater and it's 9 or 10 years old, it requires more water to fill this tub than the standard tub. Mm-hmm. My rule of thumb is if you can take a 10-minute shower without running out of hot water, then you should be okay in this tub, because you use about the same amount of water in a 10-minute shower as you use to fill this tub.
To fill it up.
But if you don't have the proper gallonage of tub of hot water heater, or it's 10 or 15 years old, you might need to upgrade. And some of these seniors don't have the ability to do that or the funds to do that, and then they're being charged a ridiculous amount of money. You know, cheap is not always good and good is not always cheap, but you can pay too much for a product, right, for sure.
Absolutely. So a couple of the big things to think about when installing, we're talking about the electrical, like you said,
yes,
and then the water heater. Now, the competition is not really going to care about these, you know, particularly the electrical, which really scares me because it can be a fire hazard. I'm such a big person on safety and safety first. But so if they'll set this system up, they'll sell it to you. Oh yeah, it'll all work out. You know, we'll get it installed. Then when it's being wired in, if they wire it into GFCI, then you know, or they just wire it in a way that, look, anything can be done. You know, if you've done any handyman work at all, or if you know that, you know, your spouse has done any handyman work at all, you know, anything can be done, you know, especially with wiring. But should it be done? And is it a fire hazard? So they can wire that walk-in tub in for you, but is it the right way, and is it going to cause a safety hazard? You know, because sometimes they just don't care. A lot of the competition just doesn't care. And what really makes me mad is they just don't tell you about it. You know, I mean, at least discuss it with the consumer and then discuss what the right action is. But they figure, oh, no, we can't tell them because they're going to lose a sale. So that becomes dishonest, in my opinion, and it's not taking care of the consumer, where that is 100% opposite of what you guys do. You make sure that they are taken care of, you know, from the first minute they call you all the way through the potential sale and past the sale.
And the difference is simply this. When you're dealing with some company with commission salespeople, they're all about need to make that sale to make a commission. Mm-hmm. When you're dealing with us, you have a problem that we're trying to solve. We're not chasing a commission. We're trying to help you, and we're trying to get you what you need that fits your particular situation. So if you have a home that has some inferior electrical panel or not a sufficient hot water heater, we know that we're going to be around when you start having problems and you run out of hot water, or you have something we're not going to install it in that situation, because I'm going to be there to answer the phone when you have a problem. That other guy, you know, 4 or 5 months from now when you have a problem, he's probably not even there. He's spent his commission. He's down the road. Right. And that's the difference. It's called integrity.
Yeah, it really is. Folks, I would highly recommend if you have mobility issues at all, if you're advancing in age, if your parents, your grandparents are advancing in age, they have mobility issues, maybe you're a disabled veteran, maybe you have a disability yourself, the walk-in tub is perfect. And this one in particular has the lowest step in the industry. It's made right here in America, has American certification, made in America, not made somewhere else and assembled here, made in America. And, of course, you're going to talk to the owners of the company, Randy and Sheila Addington, and they're going to take care of you. Their website is hydrojetwalkintubs.com, hydrojetwalkintubs.com. Connect with them, and they will absolutely get you and or your loved ones taken care of so they don't have that fall in the bathroom and lose more of precious time. Folks, we're going to take a short break, then we're going to come on back. We'll see you in a few.